In Lake County and beyond, this is the Philadelphia Lawyer Show, and this is Ron Green. Today, my guests are two of the four District 5 supervisor candidates, Lily Woll and Jessica Pyska. Good morning, Lily.
Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Pretty good, and good morning, Jessica.
Good morning, Ron.
And thank you both for being here today. I appreciate it very much. The opinions expressed by me and my guests, Jessica Pyska and Lily Woll, are the opinions of the speakers only and do not represent the opinion of this radio station or its management. In my view, Jessica and Lily are both progressive Democrats that care about people in Lake County. Now, I've never done this format before with two candidates, but I thought this might be a good way for my listeners to compare the two and make an informed choice. There are also two Republicans in the race. One is 48-year-old Kevin Ahajanian, who was endorsed by the Lake County Republican Party, and who walked out on my interview on December 21st after 13 minutes of questions and answers. The other Republican candidate is 77-year-old Bill Kearney, a retired druggist. He retired after selling two drugstores in Lakeport, threw his hat in the ring pretty late. So for most of my listeners, I think there are really only two choices for District 5 supervisor, Jessica Pyska and Lily Woll. So let's get to some questions for them. There will be a set time allotted for each question to be answered, and each candidate will answer the same questions, taking turns on answering first. We flip the coin to determine who would respond first to the first question. By the way, the Lake County Chamber of Commerce is sponsoring a debate with all four of the District 5 candidates on Thursday, February 6th at 6 p.m. at the Board of Supervisors Chambers in the courthouse in Lakeport. That's February 6th. I will not be taking any calls today. So Jessica and Lily, I will tell each of you how much time you have for each question, but please don't feel compelled to use all the allotted time. Linda Kelly will ring a bell when you have 10 seconds left, and her phone will start making noises and chiming when your time is up. Most questions will only allot 1 minute to answer, but some will be 2 minutes, and I will repeat the question before each of you answers. So the first question, and Linda, you shouldn't start the clock until after I finish with the question, of course. So you have 2 minutes for this first question, Lily. Tell us your background and your life from childhood to the present, your age, where you've lived, what jobs you've held, your education, and things like that. Later, I will ask you about qualifications for the job and why you're running, so there's no need to go into that now. Lily?
Thank you very much. My name is Lily Woll. My name is Lily Woll, and I'm 38 years old. I was born in Ukiah, grew up in Kelseyville at the same house my whole life. Went through the Kelseyville high schools, was an exchange student in Brazil in my senior year, and then I went to Spain for a year to teach ESL, and then I came back and had 3 or 4 jobs here in Lake County. I feel like I've worked every single sector here. Then I went to the Peace Corps in Guyana for 2 years. Then I came back to Lake County, the land of love, my love. And then I went to the Sonoma State University, and I started a master's in education, and then I continued it with additional master's in Spanish. I've taught at both colleges, Ukiah campus, Lake Center, Woodland Community College, Lake County campus, in different areas around Lake County. And I currently teach at Kelseyville High School. I teach Spanish and English language development. And in high school, I taught, or in college, I taught Spanish and ESL and high school equivalency preparation and college preparation. I've worked for the county in 2 different seats and 2 different positions, and I've worked it was social services in the Lake County Library, and I've worked in every age level at the schools. And yeah, I just love Lake County. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The same question to you, Jessica. Let me repeat it, though. Tell us about your background and your life from childhood to the present, your age, where you've lived, what jobs you've held, your education, etc., Later, I'll ask about qualifications for the job and why you're running, so there's no need to go into that at this point. Jessica?
Sure. So Jessica Pyska. I grew up in Lake County as well. I was born at the old Lakeside Hospital in Lakeport. I grew up in Cobb, and I went through the Middletown School District. I also was an exchange student. I spent a summer in Bolivia between my junior and senior year. I went to UC Santa Cruz, earning my bachelor's degree there. After college, I moved to San Francisco, and I worked in commercial real estate. I did that up until 2005 when I moved back home. I had been taking care of my mom when she passed away. I realized I was sort of done with living in San Francisco and wanted to come back, and Joel and I wanted to start our family here. I sat that's when I sat on the board of the Friends of Cobb Mountain, which I'm still on that. I worked in Moore Family Winery in the tasting room for 7 years. I started being the garden teacher at Cobb School in 2015, so my anniversary there is next month. Then 2015, the Valley Fire came. I lost my house and kind of plunged into doing long-term recovery work for the Cobb community, also rebuilding my house. We established the Cobb Area Council later that spring. And so I'm serving my second term there. It's a board-appointed position. So the Cobb Area Council is a municipal advisory council that the board adopted our resolution and appointed us, and we have been serving in that capacity since then.
Okay, thank you. So the next question starts with Jessica, and this is also a 2-minute question, but you don't need to take 2 minutes. What are your qualifications for the job of supervisor, including what you have done in your life that qualifies you for this job?
So when I worked in commercial real estate, I was in a small company. There were 4 of us, and we did asset management for tens of millions of dollars in property. We managed it for an investor base. So I got a lot of experience in budgeting and asset management through that process. Then within about 2 years of having that job, my husband and I bought an apartment building in San Francisco that we managed and renovated and eventually sold to come back up here. So my position on the Cobb Area Council has been working with all the supervisors and staff to accomplish a lot of the programs that we have been developing up there. So really my experience in financial management and program development with the county and with the staff is where most of my experience comes from.
Okay, thank you, Jessica. So Lily, the same question for you. What are your qualifications for the job of supervisor, including what you have done in your life that qualifies you for this job?
Thank you. So the first thing that I could think of was in college at New York City. I had to do a study abroad of the government in Venezuela during the Chavez times. So I had an opportunity to spend 3 months there and study it closely. And what the consejos comunales was a type of small government that they organized there. While I was in the Peace Corps in Guyana, I worked with several local government agencies and student and youth programs, and I also worked for international conservation, helping protect the forest and the jungle through education. While I worked at the community colleges, Woodland Community College, I was designed programs, and I worked closely with the Latino population and informing them within the sheriffs and the CHP and their rights. And I also worked, excuse me, and then I also worked with the other organizing, connecting students to the different services around the Lake County. I had opportunities to work with grants, one with Lake County Tribal Health and getting health insurance to children. I worked with a grant from First Five in implementing a ESL program. And currently I teach high school, so that's an entire different population that I've had a lot of opportunities working with different populations around the county and understanding them and seeing where they come from and their point of view. So within the different capacities that I've had, I've been able to experience that.
Okay, thank you. So the next question, we're going to switch to 1-minute questions now. Almost every question now is going to be 1 minute to answer until we get near the end. I'm going to give you 2 minutes on the last question, I think. So this is a 1-minute question, and Lily gets to answer this one first. Why are you running for supervisor?
Oh, I love Lake County, first of all. I love the people here. I love to talk to them, to understand where they're coming from. There's a lot of issues that are going on. And again, within the different capacities of working around the lake, I've had opportunity to see where the Board of Supervisors can make a direct influence and experience with different services around the lake. And I want to make those connections. I have the opportunity to see the needs of people, and I want to do the best I can in creating opportunities for people and also raising the tide so all the boats come up.
Okay, thank you. Now the same question, 1 minute. For Jessica, why are you running for supervisor?
I believe in a bright future for Lake County, and I know that we can achieve economic vitality, a high standard of disaster preparedness, and have health and safety for all of our residents, particularly the children and our seniors. And my experience over the past 4 years and working with the county and building these relationships is how we get there.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is 1 minute again, and we start with Jessica this time. Tell us some of your endorsements.
I have well over 100 endorsements right now. Cecilia Aguiar-Curry was one of my first endorsers. I got her last summer. She was very excited to work with me. She's been looking for a partner in our county. I also, Fiona Ma is an endorser. I recently got the Lake County Democrats endorsement and the Sierra Club endorsement. You can see a whole list of my endorsers on my website at Jessica Pyska for supervisord5.com.
Okay, so the same question, Lily. Tell us some of your endorsements.
That's excellent, Jessica. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, those are also. My endorsements, I have to say, are on my website, and you can, the website, but also the endorsements I want to represent as many people as possible. And the people that I've talked to, you could see it on my website, and it's a lot as I talk to them and represent people. I have endorsements, and you could see it on the website. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the next question, we start with Lily. And again, this is Ron Green. This is the Philadelphia Lawyer Show, and we're in the studio with two of the District 5 supervisor candidates, Jessica Pyska and Lily Woll. And this question goes to Lily. You've got 1 minute. What would you do as supervisor to alleviate homelessness in Lake County?
Wow. First of all and foremost, I would support the programs that are going on now. They're limited, but there's works in place. I heard Tina Scott say, stay tuned for 2 homeless shelters that are coming in on both ends of the lake. So I would support those directly as a supervisor. And I would support small homes and then the grants that are available for changing places into homes with wraparound services. And every level, we need homes for people, every single level.
Okay, thank you. So the same question to Jessica. What would you do as supervisor to alleviate homelessness in Lake County? 1 minute.
On Monday, I'm going to be taking part in volunteering for the point in time count, where we establish how many homeless people we have in our county. That data is really important for us to access HUD funds. We're hopefully going to be having the Hope Center built in Clear Lake, which, as Lily says, has full wraparound services for the whole person. The whole person grant funding that's available from the state. Todd Metcalf with behavioral health is going to be going after that because it's a huge amount of money. And the whole person grant goes, it wraps around physical health, mental health, and behavioral services. And with that funding, we'll be able to get more housing for our homeless and services.
Okay, so the next question, we start with Jessica, and it's 1 minute. What would you do as supervisor to promote wildfire safety?
Well, that's what I've been doing for almost 4 years. We have pioneered many programs with the Cobb Area Council on empowering communities and neighbors to harden their homes, learn about Ember awareness, coordinate with their neighborhoods, develop Firewise neighborhoods. But this really is a multi-tier process. We have to adjust our entire lifestyle of how we live in wildfire country. So it's going to come from the top. The state and the federal funds need to come to help us with vegetation management, and our supervisors need to help coordinate those funds and programs and organize the communities and neighborhoods so that they're safe and have evacuations plans.
Okay, again, when you hear that bell, that means you've got 10 seconds left. So now we go to Lily. Same question, 1 minute. What would you do as supervisor to promote wildfire safety?
So education is what I'm into, specialty, and people need to understand which routes they can go and how they can prepare for fire preparedness, and how the EPIC, right now, for example, they have the EPIC grants, and there's education to have community parties. And within these parties, you can get to know your neighbors. Because at a evacuation shelter, I had an opportunity to see people come and bring in their neighbors. A 92-year-old lady. We need to understand who we live next to so we could support, and also be ready for the for fires. And it's a change that we all have to make. Yes, and the program, I have to say that what the work is doing now is excellent.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So the next question goes first to Lily, 1 minute. Somewhat related question. What are your ideas for facilitating post-wildfire cleanup and rebuilding?
So the facilitating post-fire cleanup is it's such a process that it has to. Fortunately, we've had the experience of fires before, so we have an idea of how to definitely strategize to be able to fight those fires and prepare for it. As the grants come in, there's the opportunity to do the 1,000 Hands project. I mean, that's a way for people to get involved directly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the same question now goes to Jessica. What are your ideas for facilitating post-wildfire cleanup and rebuilding? 1 minute.
Well, I absolutely cannot believe that we still have fire debris in the Mendocino forest from the Mendocino complex fire. That cleanup hasn't happened yet. The state is supposed to be stepping in with that. I think ultimately our county is going to have to. We have a health crisis there. You cannot leave the fire debris there for a year and a half, and now we're in the wet season. So that I can't understand that. I know the supervisors continue to work on that, but that's a huge issue that needs to be addressed. Second, housing has been my biggest concern since this happened. I rebuilt my own house. I'm keenly aware of how difficult it is to build houses, but we have to replenish our housing stock. And I started that work with the Rebuild Expo to inspire people to build their house and show them what's possible. But the insurance-sponsored rebuilds are over, and we have to make this push for that for rebuilding our homes.
Okay, thank you. So the next question goes first to Jessica. In 1 minute, Planning Commissioner Dan Sunrem, appointed by Rob Brown, has been criticized for bias against the legal cannabis industry. He has often been the only no vote on approving cannabis permits. Would you keep him on as planning commission member? And if not, do you have an idea who you would appoint as planning commissioner or what type of person you will look for? 1 minute.
So first of all, the voters of California approved cannabis, and our county needs to be all on the same page. How do we get the most out of this? And how do we use cannabis as an important component of our economic profile? Now, I haven't thought that far ahead yet, Ron, about who would be planning commissioner. I'm trying to get to the primary, but this ultimately everybody has to be on the same page.
Okay, thank you. So the same question to Lily, Planning Commissioner Dan Sunram, whose name I may be murdering, appointed by Rob Brown, has been criticized for bias against the legal cannabis industries. He's often been the only no vote on approving cannabis permits. Would you keep him on? And if not, do you have any idea who you would appoint as a planning commissioner or what type of person you would look for? 1 minute.
Yes, I would. His name is Dan Syndrome, and I would not keep him on unless I couldn't absolutely find anybody else, but because the experience is important. However, cannabis is also important for this economy, and we have to support it. Like you said, it's a state voted in initiative, and I would look for somebody that would maintain the community growth boundary of the town and make sure if there was development that would stay in the town and that it would maintain the agricultural lands and the natural lands that we have here. I want to keep that country way of life as much as possible.
Okay, so we're going to have one more question. It's a 1 minute question, and then we're going to take a little station identification break here so you can catch your breath. So the last question in this half, and then we got a bunch more questions, 1 minute. This goes to Lily first. How would you rate Carol Hutchinson as county administrator, and do you think she should be replaced?
Well, personally, I don't work directly with her at this point. I do understand that there are issues within the work culture of the county and people wanting to leave, and most importantly right now, we need to support those employees in the county, our employees, to have this county work and run smoothly. As for Carol Hutchinson, I'd have to see directly and work with the other supervisors and other county workers to understand exactly what the issues are when the inside track, when I'm supervisor.
Okay.
However, we cannot appreciate any kind of bullying culture or accept it inside the county. They need to feel appreciated.
Okay, thank you. So, Jessica, the same question, 1 minute. How would you rate Carol Hutchinson as county administrator, and do you think should be replaced?
I've watched Carol work through a lot of our emergencies, and she has done great work. And I don't think it's fair at this point for Lily and I to make that judgment. We're not behind closed doors. We don't understand every nuance. And that's what a leader needs to. You can't make rush decisions. So I think getting immersed in the process will shed some light on the county culture. We as outsiders can make our criticisms, but ultimately you have to go in with an open mind.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to take a little break here. Okay, we're back. This is Ron Green. This is the Philadelphia Lawyer Show. And we have in the studio two candidates for District 5 Supervisor, Lily Woll and Jessica Pyska. And I've got a bunch more questions for both of them. The next question is 1 minute. And the question is, we're going to start with Jessica on this one, I guess. Yeah. if I've got it straight here. What is your position on Dollar General's attempts to open multiple stores in Lake County just a few miles apart from each other?
I think we're good on Dollar Generals. I think updating our area plans and looking at our zoning will help us figure out the best retail places for the best locations. But I'd really like to see a higher standard for our county. Across the board, that's my goal, is raise the bar. Let's be the best we can be.
Okay, Lily, same question. What's your position on Dollar General's attempts to open multiple stores in Lake County just a few miles apart from each other?
Well, a few miles apart, that's a little too much, but at the same time, we don't want to have extremely expensive places to shop at. And Kelseyville, for example, has excellent places and stores to shop at, so we wouldn't need a Dollar General there. But there could be communities that could use those services if there weren't affordable places, or not even if there wasn't anything there, then they need a place. Transportation is a problem in this county, so they need a place to shop. And if that's the only place, then fine, be it. But at the same time, let's try to get local people getting local stores and promote what's here as we can, because we get a local person running the stores, those dollars stay right in this county.
Okay, so the next question is also 1 minute, and this one goes to Lily first. What do you propose to improve the economy of Lake County?
To improve the economy, so I see it as this. The county is the hub. The county government is the hub, and to improve the economy of the county, we have to improve the government. There's vacancy issues, and there's a work culture issues that have to be addressed, and by improving the government, we can improve the services for businesses and for economic necessities and the infrastructure. But we have to fix what the government's going on right now. We can't have workers there that are doing the jobs of 2 or 3 people. So we have to address that study when it comes.
Okay.
The classification study, excuse me.
Same question to Jessica, 1 minute. What do you propose to improve the economy of Lake County?
A lot of the work that I do is in economic development, taking a grand view of tourism in our county and the tourism dollars that flow in during the summer months, during fishing season, and how can we support all the businesses that support tourism, and the wineries and the shops and all the small businesses. So one of the projects that I have is a revolving small business loan fund where small business owners, first in the Cobb area, and then I have other programs going to the rest of the county, is small business owners can apply for a microloan of $2,500 to $7,500 at 2% paid back over 5 years. And that's a huge benefit for business owners that need to recover from the PSPS, invest in a generator, replenish stock, or plan for the next season.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is also 1 minute, and this one goes to Jessica Pyska first. Kind of related, how can the county increase its revenue and avoid budget shortfalls?
The number one place to raise revenues is to have more housing. We have lost so many houses that haven't been put back on the tax roll, and we're not going to get out of our revenue problem until we focus on getting a lot of houses rebuilt. And I've been talking to contractors, I've been talking to the USDA. I have a lot of plans on how we do this. The price to build housing and homes is really expensive, and it outweighs what you can sell them for. So we have to be innovative in our approach, but we cannot lose focus on getting more homes built.
Okay, so the same question goes to Lily, 1 minute. How can the county increase its revenue and avoid budget shortfalls?
It can increase its revenue. It's similar that you said this is a similar question to the last one, in that increasing its revenue, we have to again fill those vacancy rates. We have to push and support the local government so that they can do the work of getting those permits out and collecting the improving the tax revenue, auctioning off houses that don't have occupants living there. There's a lot of work that can be done, and by having the government working more smoothly, that would gather revenue.
Okay, so the next question goes to Lily first. 1 minute. Do you think current cannabis regulations in Lake County are too loose or too stringent, and what would you do to change them?
So the cannabis regulations have to fit under the state rules, right? It has to align it. And right now, once you get your license, you've already jumped through the hoops and the loops and so on. And it is a little stringent and a little bit tight. But however, they don't have to, once the growers get their license, they won't have to deal with CEQA again or something because they've done that process in the beginning. But there is room for change. There's always room for improvement. And cannabis is an economic opportunity here in Lake County, so we need to pursue it as best as possible and support it.
Okay, and the same question, 1 minute, to Jessica. Do you think current cannabis regulations in Lake County are too loose or too stringent, and what would you do to change them?
I think this last hemp season, I think a lot of issues were picked up, and the county has created an ad hoc committee to help kind of tighten up the hemp regulations. But in doing that, I think they are reflecting on some of the regulations they put in place for cannabis. And so I'm really looking at this group to figure out how we can make things smoother and easier. And Lily's right. This is an economic opportunity for our county, and we need to support these growers.
Okay, so I guess the next question, we start with Jessica. And you've kind of touched on this, but this is related. This is 1 minute again. Do you see any problems with the interplay of heavily regulated state licensed cannabis growers and the very loosely regulated hemp growers? 1 minute.
Ultimately, it's the same plant that we're talking about. I know the THC component is regulated, but I think that working these two programs together, we're going to be able to see a lot of benefit. I think the summer was a little crazy with the hemp, and so developing like indoor seed cultivation and no open air pollination, those and buffer zones, putting buffer zones in. I think there's a lot we can learn from this last year, and this ad hoc committee has been working every other Friday to straighten out these issues.
Okay, and Lily, the same question, 1 minute. Do you see any problems with the interplay of heavily regulated state licensed cannabis growers and the very loosely regulated hemp growers in Lake County?
Yes, we have to play mind to it because we don't need any other violence due to marijuana. And as it's new and it's just coming in, hemp is on the federal farm bill, so it has every legal right to grow, especially because we did not do a moratorium on it. But as you said, seed grows that stay indoors, and then the feminized seeds are clone-only hemp plants that would help the existence of both cannabis growers and hemp growers together in the county. And we need to support those plans as best as possible, because if we absolutely make it illegal, it could breed more violence. So we need to have it work together.
Okay. Thank you. So we've got a couple more questions, and then we're getting near the end here. So this one, we start with Lily Woll. 1 minute. Why are you a better choice for supervisor than Jessica? Make your case.
I wouldn't say I'm a better choice, but I would say that I am an excellent choice. I think we're equally excellent choices. However, I like people. I like to listen to people, and I like to understand where they're coming from, because their issues, they are basically professionals at their issues that they have, and they have to deal with them in and day out. So it's very important to my constituents and the people of Lake County. I will listen to them. And then I will do the education and understand each issue that comes across my desk carefully and ask people about it. I'm not afraid to ask questions, and I'm not afraid to work with the group and find out that information and call people out when there's an issue, or to work together.
Okay. Remember, when she rings the bell, you still have 10 seconds. But
Well, it seems to be working out just perfectly.
Okay.
I finished my
Okay.
sentence. Bing. Thank you,
Okay.
Linda.
So now the same 1 minute question to Jessica Pyska. Why are you a better choice for supervisor than Lily Woll?
I think this just comes down to experience. I have a huge amount of experience in strategic planning and financial background. And the boards that I've been serving on, I've built the relationships with the county staff and the county supervisors, and I'm interacting constantly with our state elected. I spent a lot of time this week with both Mike McGuire's office and Cecilia's office, dealing with issues, tree issues that we actually have in the Cobb area. And Lily was up at that meeting too. But this work that I've been doing for 4 years is a trajectory. I'm following this work, and I want to take everything that I've been doing to the rest of the county.
Okay. So this next question, if I haven't lost my place here, goes to Jessica Pyska first. 1 minute. What do you want your legacy as supervisor to be?
My number one goal is to make Lake County better. And I know that it takes a lot of time for programs to work out, and you see the benefit, but I am willing to put that time in right now. And I want to see the lake cleaner, and we can do that with the Middle Creek project. I want to see the economy raise up, but mostly I want to plan for the growth that Lake County is about to experience. We are going to be having more and more families moving into our area. We're going to have more industry. We have more resorts coming in. We need to plan right now. We need to update our area plans and plan for this growth so that we do not lose our authenticity and we retain what we love most about our county.
Okay, the same question, 1 minute to Lily Woll. What do you want your legacy as supervisor to be?
Well, I love Lake County, and I agree with Jessica. Those are those improvements. And at the same time, I want to see the improvement of the people here in Lake County. I want the services to improve. I want there to be opportunities for people and education, and the will and the culture for people to want to stay and have families here and create that community that supports everybody, where we're all on page and support people, because it's the people that are the real economy here. That's what supports them. So as long as they feel supported and the programs in place that keeps what we love about Lake County, I want to do that. Here's my 10 seconds.
Okay. So this is the last question. And Linda, this one's going to be 3 minutes. 3 minutes. This is closing argument. You got 3 minutes.
Woo.
Tell people how to reach you. All right. So first of all, this one goes first to Lily. This goes first to Lily. 3 minutes, closing argument. Tell people how to reach you. Say whatever you want as a closing argument to convince people to vote for you.
Well, you can reach me at my phone number. I like that person-to-person contact. I would appreciate you calling me 707-367-9107. Again, My phone number is 707-367-9107. And I like that person-to-person contact, or if you prefer email, it's wollforsupervisor@gmail.com, WOLL4FOR supervisor@gmail.com. And people should listen to me because I care about the county. I care about what you have to say. I care about listening to you and carefully. I love to go to each person and understanding where they come from. And there's a lot of need for this county and improvement. But at the same time, we're such a wonderful place to be here. And I want to support this county in improving as best as possible. And one of my favorite things is to go door to door and listening to each person and to get involved as much as possible into improving the vitality and economic improvement of this county. But most importantly, the government has to be working for the people. We need to be supporting the people, and vacancy rates have to be changed. And I want to get into that government and do the work that needs to be done, put in those extra hours, holidays, weekends, plans, really work as a team to improving this county. And I look forward to your phone calls and to hear from you and hear what you have to say, because together we can make a difference. And I encourage you to get out there and vote. Por favor, voten todos. El 3 de marzo, necesitamos votar y cambiar todo que queremos en esta vida. So we have that opportunity. Please come out March 3rd and vote. You get out there and we can change your lives here in Lake County and make it better. Vote. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Jessica, it's time for closing argument. You've got 3 minutes. Tell people how to reach you and say whatever you want as a closing argument to convince people to vote for you.
Sure. So you can reach me. My cell phone number 707-278-4007. You can email me at Jessica Pyska for Supervisor D5 at Gmail. You can look at my websites, Jessica Pyska for Supervisor D5.com. You can see a list of my endorsements, some testimonials. You can read about a lot of the work that I've been doing. You can always find me every Tuesday that there's a Board of Supervisors meeting. I am there. So if you want to find me in any of those places, I'm available anytime. My work has taken me all over the county. And Lily's right. We need to support our people with the programs that are being developed and that are here. And there's so much more funding that we can access if we get our data in place. And that's why it's so important to have the point in time count this Monday and understand really what is our homeless issue? How many people do we have to serve? And how do we grow? And what infrastructure do we need to have in place before we can grow? We can't build a bunch of houses if we don't have roads, and and our clean water. We have to figure out some of our funky little old water systems. We're doing a massive consolidation project in Cobb, taking all the funky little water systems and bringing them into compliance. And that is an example. The state is actually using that project as an example for the rest of the county. That's a $20 million infrastructure job that's happening right now. There's a lot of other infrastructure projects that we need to get going. We have, like I mentioned, the resorts coming in. We have Maha going into Gwinnett. We have the Kokura Resort going in the Old Howard Hot Springs. How do we accept that growth but plan? And how do we maintain affordable housing and moderate income housing and housing at all levels, like Lily mentioned? There's a lot of work that we need to do, and we need to have a clear vision of how we get there, and strategic planning is a huge part of that. And that is where I am strongest. You have the vision, and you commit to it, and you have the right people working, and the details will align.
Okay, thank you very much to Lily Woll and Jessica Pyska. And it's about time to wrap this up. Thank you both very much for being here today. This is KPFC 88.1 FM in Lakeport, California, listener-supported community radio. This is Ron Green, and you've been listening to the Philadelphia Lawyer Show. This show repeats Monday at 10 a.m. If it's Saturday, stay tuned for the monthly Buckaroo Man Show with John Erfurth and his big crew. And if it's Monday, stay tuned for some great music with either David and the Kitchen Sink or Dwayne's Folk and Beyond Show. They alternate, and I can never keep track of who's coming which week. Thanks to everyone for turning on KPFC this morning. Very, very special thanks to my guests, Jessica Pyska and Lily Woll, who are running for supervisor in District 5. And special thanks to Linda Kelly for working the board today.
Linda, thank you. Thank
you,
Ron Green.
Thank you. And we're going to go out with a song called Lady of the Highlands from the Moon Alice album High Five. That's track 6. Roger McNamee, John Molo, Peter Sears, Barry Sless, and Jason Crosby, some world-class musicians who have been around a long time. Here's Moon Alice and Lady of the Highlands.
I follow the sun, it pays my way to you, 'cause there's nothing in this whole wide world better suited than me and you. Beside the 7th sea, I've flown into the blue, and I felt cold rain upon my cheek, and I thought it through and through. Don't ever try to tell me that unicorns can't fly, 'cause seeing them soar from Gabriel's town into the devil's cry. Well, I cannot see, I cannot hear, I'm haunted by the wrecks that blow across the ocean deep toward a sun that never set. Go beneath the deepest sea, I climb the highest peak, but nothing can compare to the wisdom of the meek. Don't ever try to tell me that unicorns can't fly, 'cause seeing them soar from Gabriel's town into the devil's cry. Lady of the Highlands, when people stop and stare, if you see me look the other way, don't think that I don't care. Lady of the heather, a lady of the moss, I'll ride till I can ride no more towards the Southern Cross. Don't ever try to tell me that unicorns can't fly, 'cause seeing them soar from Gabriel's town into the devil's cry. Plunge into the depths with me through the rain and darkest storm. Together we can paint the sky, your eyes to keep us warm. If you reach inside, you find a dream just waiting to be born.